There's no way I would engage in a relationship with somebody that doesn't make me a better version of who I've been made to be.
That's so great.
Right?
I hope
That
everyone
high
hears
invite. That high invite. I want you in truth and love, right? I want you to invite me to the next level.
Welcome to the Hope and Hairspray podcast. I'm Rhodi Cate.
And I'm Kelly Osborn. Our minds will always believe what we tell them. This podcast will help give you truth, give you hope, and also give you a little hairspray to make it all stick.
Let's jump in.
Hello, hello.
Hi there.
We are here. Episode number 1.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Kicking and screaming. You pulled me here. Kicking and screaming. For the record.
I'm so glad you're here.
Did not see that vision 4 years ago when we first met. I think you brought it up the first time we met. I'm just saying. And
I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure I did. So let's talk about how we met.
I know. We have our own meet cute. Meet cute. What are the two?
Yeah, it's super cute. Absolutely.
Okay. You know what? Don't pretend like you knew what that meant. I had to explain what that was.
I did that.
In all fairness, you're like, what? Yeah.
Is it charcuterie?
Yeah.
Or
it's not food.
So it was 2018?
I keep saying 19, but I don't know.
I think it was
what
18.
Yeah. Okay. I bet 19, but we'll go with that.
All right.
Okay.
We'll check our data.
This is what they're going to know about us. We often disagree.
That is true.
It's true. I mean,
But why we're here
Yeah.
is because of that.
It is true.
And the leveraging, we're going to talk about that later, of what we do with our differences.
That's true.
So we love that. So one of those years, 18 or 19, we were at a conference in Arizona, and it was just a moment where we had to do introductions, normal.
Yeah.
With every room.
Yep.
And I gave mine first.
Can I tell them what that? So Kelly introduced you. You introduced yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And it was, "Hi, I'm Kelly Osborn. I live in Hope." And she paused, and I was like, "What? What? I want?" And then you continued on. It's Hope, Michigan. I get that now, but at the time, I just thought, I want to know her. I want to get to know her. I don't know that I said I wanted to be her. That came later.
Oh boy.
Yeah. That came later.
Before you knew too much.
Yeah. Then now I'm back to, I just, she's nice. No. I just was like, wow, I need to meet her. I mean, the energy you have all the time anyway, the energy in meeting her and never having met you before was just captivating. Drew me in. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So super fun. Because then later, I didn't know that you wanted to meet me.
I did not say that. I'm not a stalker, please. I mean,
but somehow we ended up at the same lunch table or something. And I typically, when I travel, I don't bring my hairspray.
Right.
Because it's more than 3 ounces.
It is.
You can't put it in your bag. So if you're not checking, you need to not bring hairspray.
Right.
And Rhodi had a car.
I did have a car.
I didn't rent one. I just Ubered that conference. Yeah. And you said, "Hey, I got to go to a grocery store to get some produce or something." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Do you think I could tag along? Because I need some hairspray."
And I'm like, "Come on, let's go."
So I did. Jumped in the car, and we immediately hit it off. Immediately.
Yeah.
Although very different from each other.
Yes. I mean, we are.
You have a corporate background, big companies that you've worked for.
Yeah.
I am an entrepreneur,
right?
Serial entrepreneur. Peoplepreneur is self-professed peoplepreneur.
Oh, I don't know. I think other people acknowledge that. I think
thank
people
you.
acknowledge
Thank
that.
you.
I've seen you in action.
Thank you.
I have seen you in action. Yes.
Okay.
With your teams and your people and other people's teams, and just really Kelly About Town is really interesting. I have seen you.
Yeah,
go
you've
about
been
town.
with me for a couple weeks now.
I have,
yeah.
and it's not the first time I've been with you this long. And you are definitely you're a peoplepreneur. You know people. You love people.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and
you're really, I think, great at that idea of teams, right? How do teams interact? How do people interact? How do you get the best out of each other? How do you work better together?
Better together.
Better together.
So in retrospect, going back to when we first met, when you talked about some of the brands you had worked for, that was just so intriguing to me. I was like, oh my gosh, what is it like to live that type of life in the positions that you have been in, facilitator, leader, strategist. I was like, wow, like I need to know more about you too. And then we went and got Hairspray, and usually I guess friends go out to have a drink, but we did produce and Hairspray.
We did do produce
and Hairspray. And
yeah.
that was just the beginning of what we could have never imagined would be the collaborative friendship and now partnership that we have. So super exciting. And we're going to kind of break that down because typically women have the propensity to compare.
Yep.
Right?
In competition, compare.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Or you're different from me means you're better than me or not.
Worse. I'm better than you. I hate that. That's even worse.
Yeah.
Not right. That's icky.
Absolutely. Being in both of those positions. But I think we took a chance on what could this friendship do? And so we did another trip together.
Later that year.
And we actually added time to it. Yeah. We went to Utah.
We did. We had done the master class in the summer.
We did.
We did the master class, and we did things that were hard for me. There was some marketing things. It was all about what we do, right? We have a lot of, at that time we were really coaching and had a lot of individual clients, and I had still some group and corporate clients and things like that. But that's where we were, and so we were getting better at our craft, right?
Right.
And so that was how we continued going. And then when we needed to end it in Utah, I was like, I'm going to ask her to stay a day. And
absolutely.
You did.
Absolutely.
It was so much fun. We did a lot.
We did do a lot.
We did. A lot.
You know, you can go up ski lifts in the middle of summer.
We
found that out.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And I found out they're scarier than in the winter to me. I don't know why. I felt like I was going to drop everything I was holding on. I don't know.
Okay.
But it was fun. We did some good stuff. Yep.
Super fun.
Yeah.
There is definitely every part of our friendship has brought out better qualities. I know in me, you challenge me sometimes when you are the CEO of a company, there's not a lot of challenging that takes place, right? And it also can be very lonely when you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You have teams and I love my teams and I coach my teams, but it can be different. Very lonely when you're an entrepreneur. Yeah. And so friendship in a professional sense, first, I think that's what brought us together, was something I was like, you know, when a drop of water drops on a dry sponge, you're like, oh, what was that? It was refreshing to me.
I was thinking the word refreshing.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I think sometimes people can think we're intimidating because we're very strong, bold, opinionated, right?
But just nailed us.
Yeah, sometimes that can very much happen. And sometimes our boldness can come across very, you can be like, oh, wow, that's just, they're very.
Sometimes I think I get the word intense. And I'm like, you know what? I'm passionate. So I have to kind of remind people that this is my passion coming out.
Yes.
And I sound opinionated. Okay, I am opinionated. However, I'm also really open and I want to hear what you have to say. And I expect you, and I will ask you too, but I expect you to jump in too and hold me accountable and stuff. So.
Absolutely. So super important.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And we could have done a typical female move and been like, whoa, that's too much for me. Especially two very bold, passionate people.
Right. In the same industry, doing the same things, regardless of our background. You were my competition, lady. I mean,
sure.
What? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So that comparison thing. And we're definitely going to have a whole episode on that for sure. But our friendship started out more in a professional setting. And then quickly, because I think we let our defenses stay low, right? We weren't, we didn't feel threatened by each other. Yeah. And we kind of pushed in because there was definitely things in you that I admired and I wanted to know more about. So I stayed in a position of curiosity. Like, tell me more. Tell me about your life. And we are very different. I've got a pack full of kids.
You do.
You know, and that was a big difference for us. And we have other differences that you're just like, wow, how are those two going to come together? Well, we didn't let that stop us. No. In fact, I think it propelled us.
I think it propelled us as individuals, because I think that's both who we are. I know for me, I saw quickly going from a corporate setting and always having a team, right? I always say this. I was like, yes, I need some help, and I'm going to have, there's nobody there. I'm by myself. And if you know me, that's dreadful. I'm like, I'm by myself in the corner, right? And so even just in the very beginning, being able to ideate with you, or like, how did you do that? Or, what are you thinking? Or, and now it's like, how do you talk about that? Because we talk about a lot of the same topics, but what I love is we have different perspectives of it. And then I learn, like, oh yeah, that's really, I didn't think of that. And that's super, helpful. So for me, that was a big part of sort of the beginning. And then somehow, I guess we got a call earlier this year. So this year, someone, okay, let's be clear. Someone reached out to Kelly, of course, because she's the peoplepreneur. And she said, hey, how about thinking about this particular business proposition? And Kelly's like, oh, that sounds interesting. And why did you think of me?
Oh my goodness, I need Rhodi.
Oh,
That's the first thing I thought.
Yeah.
First thing I thought, because back it up, just before COVID, you came here to help me work on the biggest venture that
it was a big capital venture
that we were ever aimed at. You did strategic planning for about a week. And that was, I think you flew home, and a week later, our world fell apart.
It did.
Absolutely. So COVID, the pandemic hit. And of course, like everybody, everything, any dream kind of gets put on hold then.
It did.
Even though we had other things pop up. So we just kind of put it on hold. So when I got that call, it did not take long to call you because we complement each other so very well. So that started the ball rolling again. Super exciting. We pursued that client. I think we're still pursuing that client.
I think we're still in conversation.
Yeah, we're still having conversations.
I'm going to say it hasn't worked out the way we thought, but it worked out
better.
Even better.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So then we realized, when we started shining off the car, we're like, wow, this is a beauty. Why did we put this away? Right. So got it back out, started polishing it. Oh, it was this color, right? We started realizing, oh, wow. There's some potential here.
We look good in this
we
top.
We do look good. Not like Thelma and Louise type, but
okay, right. Ooh, you went there fast. Okay.
Yeah. So not that type.
Got it.
But we started exploring. We were staying curious.
Yeah, we did stay curious.
You are a brilliant strategist. I like to call Rhodi my brain vacuum.
Which is really ironic because you're not the only person.
Oh my!
Not the only person. I do. I love I love ideation, but I love to see people who have an idea bring it out, and then I love to share back what they've said and their vision, and sometimes in a different light where they don't even see it. But in your case, you guys, the project didn't work out quite the way. Even better, though. It worked out even better. It didn't work out the way you initially thought.
Right.
But as a result, you have a new company, a new venture, and you have some of your kids involved in it. I mean, it's pretty amazing. I still don't feel like that other project's dead. I'm just saying I feel like a version of it is going to happen. I just don't know when and where.
That place is still for sale.
Maybe it's not supposed to be there. Maybe it's supposed to be Utah. I'm just saying. Okay, whatever. I don't know.
We do like to dream.
We do like to dream. But yeah, you're right. It was that I think brought us closer. So I appreciated that I got the call and that we worked hard to that. But what was interesting is when we spent hours on strategy, and
hundreds.
You're here in Michigan. I'm in Seattle because when COVID hit, everyone pivoted their business, and my husband and I looked at him and just said, "Are we ever going back to Seattle?" I mean, we were in Dallas. I'm like, we said we were going back. We said we loved it. It is like living on the face of the sun in Dallas in the summer. It's just like
I've heard
crispy. Oh. And so we said, in the middle of the pandemic, we moved back to Seattle. It was a little bit crazy, but for us, it really fit. My sister, not so happy. And I miss just miss her a ton and being able to be right there with her. But it was the right move for us. And so you're on this it's not coast. You're in this time zone.
We are on some beautiful coasts here in Michigan. That's for sure.
It does. I know. I always forget that. You've got a really big lake that you can't see the other end of it. It just goes on forever.
5 of them, but
my U.S. geography is a little, wow, that's some Michigan came out. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm on the other side. So different time zones, right? The West and the East Coast. So it's a little bit hard, but we spent hours on it and we were done. We had planned our strategy. We laid it out. And then my friend Kelly says, hey.
That's me.
What about women's retreats? And I'm like, wait.
That never came up, you said. That's what you said.
I did.
That has never come up in hundreds of hours.
Yes. You never mentioned that.
No.
No, you hadn't. And then I freaked out because, you know, you guys don't know that Kelly knows my go-to move is I panic. It's kind of a big thing. It's kind of funny. I'm able to sort of keep it sometimes inside and sometimes it just comes out.
Bubbles out.
But Kelly's, I think you're seeing it more now that it just comes out. But okay. I panicked.
I'm safe.
And then I think, then I came back and I said, hey, I had that dream too. Like that was the original reason I left corporate America, when that was my vision. And I said, let's talk about it. And we talked about it. And so as a result, we are now Hope and Hairspray.
We are.
And we are all about helping inspire women to be better together.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just
at our core.
Yes, absolutely.
We're proof of that, though. It wasn't that we were pitching something that we'd hope would work.
Right.
We are proof of concept. Like we've seen it, right?
I feel so grown up. Proof of concept.
Yes, we are.
Man.
We've proved the concept.
We did.
Right. So many differences. Very similar core values.
Agreed.
And we'll do a values episode in the future for sure.
Of course. We could not do that.
Oh, right. We love values because that's passion, right?
Yeah.
That core value. Yeah. And we are better together. And so the retreats came up because we realized we weren't the only ones.
Right.
Like we've proved you can be better together, but there's a big leap from knowing it to teaching it and inspiring it in others. So we're doing that in the form of a podcast, like this. Super excited about it. But we just came off our first women's sabbatical weekend.
It was amazing.
We did it.
Yeah, that was and so. Again, some differences. And I think this is the difference. I don't know. Do you think, although I think I might know, the difference between corporate and business owner or entrepreneur, right? You get your eyes on it and you're like, go. And
Nimble.
I'm like still putting my shoes on. I'm like, wait. And what's funny is in corporate, I probably was the person that seemed like I was the goer. And I'm like, let's go fast.
Really?
I have a sense.
Okay.
I'm
just double check. You're a strategist, though. You are a planner, which I love.
I am.
And I'm the doer.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I want to disagree, but the proof is in our Clifton Strengths report. I don't have any of those executing, strengths at the top.
And I have no strategy strengths.
Yeah. So that is
at the top.
That is how we came. We do, like I said in the beginning, like Clifton Strengths obviously was our common language, which Clifton Strengths is a common language for everyone.
Incredible.
But for us in particular, as coaches, we were able to talk about that. And in fact, I learned a lot from you because I felt like you went so much deeper, where I was a little bit. I had a great team that knew it and they would talk about it. I wasn't always in front of a group of people, but this whole idea of, it was an interesting where we got to. And I think when I look back, I'm just surprised that we kind of made those things happen. But as fast as you go, we went from...
Was it end of August?
Did we say
it was the end of August?
No, it was the 25th. It was August 25th. We had this idea.
And I was gone for the whole month of September.
Yeah. And you were out for September. And then in the beginning of November, we put together our first Women's Weekend sabbatical. So it's not a retreat. And I always say it's not your mama's retreat because
it's not.
It is. Well, why is it a sabbatical? You love words. So tell them why it's sabbatical.
I love. So women tend to put others ahead of themselves.
Right.
Just over and over and over, whether they're a wife or whether they are in the workforce or they have children. Oh my goodness. Or they're volunteers, right? They're constantly putting people ahead of themselves, and they don't have margin.
Right.
Just to sit back and take a little reflective note, take a pause, like smell, they say smell the roses, but like smell a cup of coffee, right? They're gulping it down on the way to work and taking care of others. Right. So a sabbatical, although I'm sure that's something everybody dreams of taking like, 3 months or whatever that some people get for a sabbatical. We had to do it in a weekend.
Yep.
But it's still more than what most women are ever planning on.
And intentionally, the word sabbatical is break. So we're saying break from the norm.
Take a break.
Take a break from the norm. But I will say this, and I knew it. I knew that we had put together an incredible experience. I knew that in my heart. You've had all this experience. I've had this experience put together. I had no doubt. And I know you can get a lot done in that short amount of time. It's just a weekend. Yet somehow I was stunned. Seriously stunned. Even after, the second morning, right? After the first day, that second morning, about how much work, because it is work, right? It's not like, hey, this is girls' weekend and we're going to go out and we're going to go, shopping and go to a winery, which sounds delightful, 100%.
I'm sure you need that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
But this is not what this is. There was this chance for them to take a break from the busyness, the speed of life, and take a moment to figure out, or some of them figured out, but some of them remembered what's important to them, right? And so we really guided them through that. And I was surprised, even that first morning when we woke up, how far they had come. And then by the end of it, how far they came. And then,
absolutely.
You just said before we started.
In here, we get a text from one of the lovely ladies that was at our sabbatical weekend.
Pure sunshine.
And literally showed transformation.
It's crazy. It's been 4 days.
It's just been a few days, and there's already been
movement.
Yeah, and we will circle back with them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
A big part. This is not a one and done for us.
We are not.
Like
that is one of our values, that we're not
value.
One and done. We know that it's a journey. We want to be part of their journey because honestly, I learned. I learned from them. I learned from anyone. But it was like, I was like, wow. So it was really, here's what it was. It was confirmation that we're on the right journey. And more importantly for me, because having my own business, I was terribly lonely. Lonely from I'm highly collaborative. So, right there's not someone there. And I could collaborate with certain people, but someone that had skin in the game and going the same direction and that we would go together. So you were just, I 100% better together, but just not doing it alone.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So there's that lonely part.
And there's accountability too. Right. When we're
with
meeting,
Kelly Osborn, there's accountability.
Yes, accountability. Ma'am. I will circle back. How are you? My
Yeah.
staff knows that. I'm getting a text from her.
Yeah.
I know.
Absolutely.
I know.
Absolutely.
For sure.
It's good. In a great way. And not in a mean way. But like,
sure.
Hey, you said this was important to you. Where are you? Or we agreed to that. Or that hasn't happened very much yet. I wanted to knock on the wood, but I was afraid our producer, Josh, would be like, no knocking on the table, Rhodi.
No knock.
Yeah. I'm a piece of work for him, I think. He's brilliant. I love him.
He's up for the challenge.
That's what he said.
But I think so were we.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
We were. There's no way I would engage in a relationship that doesn't make me better. Right. Like I want somebody
about
who's
you. Can you say that again?
There's no way I would engage in a relationship with somebody that doesn't make me a better version of who I've been made to be.
That's so great.
Right.
That high
invite. That high invite. I want you in truth and love. Right. I want you to invite me to the next level.
Okay.
Encouraging.
Yeah.
Right. And I believe we all need a cheerleader.
Yeah.
But not just, everything's going to be okay all the time. No, sometimes you got to do the tough stuff.
Yeah.
Right. But how are you doing? I'll be there with you. I mean, we have times where we've had rough days or rough weeks. I had a very rough month this month coming home from September, coming into a mess. And we needed each other, right? To help each other. Okay, where are you?
Right.
Let's make some progress.
Right.
Right. And also know when you're like, okay, you can't make progress right now. And that's okay.
And I think we do a particularly good, that's the better together part. And maybe it's more like not being alone is sometimes you are in the middle of it and someone else has to say, you know what? No, don't do that right now. Like, take a break. You don't need permission from me.
You might have to tell me.
I know. I already have. But I mean, you don't need, let me say this right. You do not need permission from me to put your family first. Ever.
Sure.
But sometimes I know your sense of accountability, right? So your responsibility is really high. But sometimes it's good that we hear it from someone else and just a reminder.
Sure. It is a reminder. Because sometimes when your head's down and you're knee deep, right, the sound and things that your normal senses should pick up on, right. are hindered. Right. And just having somebody that's walking alongside you and can say, hey, are you seeing this?
Right.
Because I can see it. Right. You look tired. Or what's going on? You have high empathy.
I do.
Which I don't. And so sometimes you can pick up on it and you're like, hey, and my husband does too. Oh my goodness. It's a wonderful thing to have. I'm glad I don't have it.
That's fair.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Empathy is a tough one.
It can be. Well,
but I'm very grateful for that. That's that relationship. Both pouring in, both receiving, both moving each other to be a better version of who you were meant to be.
So for us, Hope and Hairspray, like we feel like we live it every day. And so that we decided that made total sense to us. We are Hope and Hairspray, and that's what we are together. Our tagline is Truth, Hope, and Hairspray, because we talk about the truth so much and we start with the truth. I always said we start with self. You always said we start with truth. And I really have just adopted that because we start with the truth about ourselves, who we are, what's important to us, where we're going to go, those types of things. What's working? Me, assessment, right? What's working well?
Love it.
What's not working well? Those types of things. So we're Truth, Hope, and Hairspray is our tagline. And this is what this podcast is about. It's certainly what our sabbatical weekends are about. And my favorite part, totally selfish. My favorite part was because we hadn't launched our name, right? We haven't launched it.
No, we launched it there.
And we told them, and they just sparkled. It was so fun.
Oh my gosh. I think we've got some shrieks even. They were just some audio, giddy when we told them the name. Yeah. Because hope, we will instill hope. Yeah. Once you get down to the truth, we can apply hope. But then, this is a super important part of us is the hairspray.
Right.
How do you make it stick? We can give you all this, give you the truth, and be like, good job, you can do it, inspire you. And then you walk out the door. Yeah. Or then you are done with the episode. Right. So hairspray is a super important part of us. Tell the listeners what the hairspray, like what are they going to get?
So hairspray, and it means lots of different things. So sometimes it means just practical tools to get it done because both of us are about practical tools. Get it done. Tell me what that means. A tool that works for you might not work for me. So always options. But sometimes it's the tenacity to stick with something. Sometimes it's the grit. It can be many different things, but it's the idea of once you are, like literally with hairspray, right? Once you've set where you are and your hair is all great and you're going out to this great event, the last thing you do is you put on hairspray to keep it in place, to make sure that it stays the way you want, doing what you want to do. Now, you're like, hey, I get these younger millennials who are like, we don't use hairspray. No, but I've seen you guys use, personally, I've seen a lot of products being used. It just may not be hairspray. But everyone understands the concept of hairspray. And of course, it's our story. So,
absolutely.
So I think what I love about hairspray is it's like conceptually very good to like say, hey, we're going to make it, but it's actually many things. And sometimes it's your circle of people.
Yeah. It's the accountability.
Yep. Accountability.
Right.
Absolutely.
Checking in with you.
All of those things. So Truth, Hope, and Hairspray. And I can't tell you how much I love it. I can't tell you how much I never imagined this. And I need you to know, I'm just trying to get over the fact that you're making me do a podcast. But
I think our producer Josh pitched it to us.
Yes.
In the February of 2020.
Yeah, he did.
He's like,
he did.
oh my goodness, you two need to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And we're here. So
we
today,
here.
Episode number 1.
It was great.
Of Hope and Hairspray.
But it was all about us. I don't like that. The other episodes will be about them, right?
Yeah,
like how do you be better together? But you needed to know our story.
Yeah,
so I mean,
that's our story.
We're just I love it.
All right. Thanks for listening
next
to Hope
time.
and Hairspray. We'll see you next time.